I feel like a lot of people, including myself, are telling everybody in the Dynasty community that this is a weaker overall draft class. Now, to be honest, I'm being pretty specific. Like, I think that the 101 is great. 102 to 104 is great. There's definitely value cliffs. But after that 108, after a guy like Sadiq, this is where I see the major value cliff. So if you're holding after the 108, I'm definitely trying to pivot. But today's video is going to help you guys get some specific ideas, specific trades to pull off if you have the 103, the 107, the 10. These are the 110. Really, bro. Get your head out of the gutter and let's start making some deals to win your Dynasty League and outmaneuver, outmanipulate, and gain Dynasty value. So we got to break down what the first round looks like. We're going to do that really, really quick, right? Just real quick rundown. Jeremiah Love, insane. The 101. We'll talk about this. We're going to go to Keep Trade Cut. We're going to go to Flock Fans. We're going to get analytical with all of it. Jeremiah Love is better than Ashton Genty as a prospect. So he's a top 20 Dynasty asset instantly. So you're only trading him for somebody as a top 20 asset. I wouldn't even recommend it. 102 to 104. All of these guys are solid. They all have their flaws. Jordan Tyson, he's probably the most talented, the most upside. He could be Jefferson 2.0, but he can't stay healthy in college. What makes you think he's going to stay healthy in the league? That's scary. Carnell Tate, he hasn't produced over 900 receiving yards in a season. That's scary by itself. He did have a nice, touchdown rate in 2025, breakout year, 9 touchdowns or whatever. But Carnell Tate is good at everything, high floor, but he doesn't excel at anything. How high is the ceiling? That's the question mark. Mekhi Lemon, this guy's like 5'11", 190 pounds. He's undersized, but he's fast. Oh, wait, he's not. He's slow. That's the flaw with Lemon. That's scary. Gets compared to Amon-Ra St. Brown, which would be the ideal case here for a guy that plays 70% in the slot. Either way, these top 4 picks are safe. The 102, 103, 104, I'm not in a rush to trade. After that, the training wheels come off, and after those top 4 selections, it's time to wheel and deal, baby, and let's see what I can get done. The 105 with Mendoza, great, but no rushing upside. Denzel Boston, this guy's DK Metcalf 2.0, 6'4", big body receiver. He's not DK Metcalf 2.0. He averaged 850 receiving yards and 10 TDs the last 2 years. Solid production, but am I excited? No. Jonah Coleman, 350 receiving yards last year, not bad. Really good pass protector, which is why I have him ranked ahead of Price right now, who Price has 15 total catches through 3 years in his 3 college seasons. That's scary. But Coleman doesn't have receiving upside, but is he the best? He's slow. It's not great. Kenyon Sadiq could be a good tight end prospect, but we'll talk about why I'd rather trade this 108 selection. And then that's where their value cliff really hits. I'm not big on Price because he doesn't have the receiving usage. Elijah Surratt's fine, but he's slow. Concepcion, I'm not a huge fan of. Ty Simpson, debatable, we shouldn't have even declared. You have some upside shots in round 2, like Stowers. Stowers, some mock drafts in the real life are having Stowers go before Sadiq, so he could be a good upside shot. There's always going to be those players that are going to hit in round 2. Chris Bell coming off the injury. This guy could have been a round 1 type player. There's always guys that are going to hit in value. But it's going to be a lower hit rate this year, and I'd rather take somebody right now. So this is where we go to Flock Fantasy and Keep Trade Cut. Let's look at Keep Trade Cut. The value of your early first round pick, it doesn't really matter because I'm not really encouraging you to shop that early first, that top 4 selection. If you don't want Mekhi Lemon or Carnell Tate and you're sitting there with the 103, 104, I don't really know what to tell you because I'm not sure that the early first has amazing value currently. The 103 and 104, you're probably targeting. If you can get George Pickens for the 103, 104, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Just because Carnell Tate, he's got the upside to be like George Pickens, and he's younger, which is good. But if Pickens re-signs with Dallas for 3 years, Pickens is now going to be an alpha receiver for 3 seasons guaranteed because we know what he is. Collins is a landmine. Ibuka, honestly, I'm re-rolling. I'm fine keeping the 104 in place of Ibuka. So there's guys here like George Pickens that I would like to take. But then beyond that, I don't think you're trading a top 4 selection this year besides the 101. For Hampton or Dart, I doubt those guys are making those trades. So Pickens is really the only trade target I like in that 103, 104 spot. Now, 105, 106, beyond that, this is where things get lovely. This is where things get fascinating. So if you look at Keep Trade Cut for what the value is of the draft pick, it's around 67th overall in value. Now, if we head over to Flock Fantasy, this is my favorite tier of players to buy. Let me just give you a quick rundown. Let's just say that if Flock Fantasy, you know, props to them. They actually have the pick values in here ranked by the creators. So obviously it's going to be more accurate. Again, you can use Keep Trade Cut to kind of scam, but you can see that they have the 107 ranked around 73rd, the 106 ranked around 61st. So you're mid-first, you're right around this F tier in terms of value. This is my favorite tier guys to target. Favorite guys. BTJ, love him as a buy. Judkins, like him as a buy. Kyron Williams, like him as a buy. Breece Hall, I like him as a buy. Mid-first for any of those 4 players, you're printing money. Brian Thomas Jr., better days ahead. Do not be fooled by his disappointing season. I also do not think that the dynasty manager holding him is going to value BTJ like this. I've seen 2 deals from you guys in the comments. Someone traded a 107 for BTJ. The 107 is probably the most I'd be willing to give up. And I saw someone trade the 110 for BTJ. Absolutely love that deal. You know, the 110, you don't even know what you're getting. Like the 110, let's just say you get Elijah Surratt at the 110. Did Elijah Surratt have a 17-point per game rookie season? I don't care what he did year 2. 17 points per game rookie year. That's impressive. Breece Hall probably gets tagged by the Jets, making him a little bit less appealing. But with that said, even if Breece Hall were to be tagged, I still think Breece Hall prints out another point per game season, close to 15 points per game. He's young, and once he escapes that purgatory of New York, better days are ahead for that star. Kyron Williams, don't mind that. We've talked about Kyron Williams a lot. Kyron Williams just doesn't have the name hype because he wasn't necessarily a touted prospect coming out. But this is somebody that's produced, and the production results do not lie here. He signed himself to a 3-year extension. As long as Stafford's there, I expect another 15-point per game season or higher. And then Judkins, the injury, it's like the best of the worst injuries you can have. You know, there wasn't any extra damage to the ligaments. So Judkins, 22 years old, good days ahead. And then you start going lower. So like these guys currently are ranked on Flock Fantasy a little bit higher. On Keep Trade Cut, some of these guys might be ranked a little bit lower. But you're talking about like a 106, 107 is fair value currently for these guys. Keep in mind, fair value is different than scamming. Like you're not scamming, but you want to gain value. So that's why with BTJ, setting the 110 for BTJ, like you instantly win value in that trade. And with a guy like BTJ, you're hoping, you're betting that BTJ just returns value even extra. Like he'll go up. Because if BTJ has another 16 point per game season, he's not 43rd anymore. He's not worth a 107. Now he's worth a 103, a 102 in the next year. So that's how Dynasty's won, is by making moves like that. I love the F tier as well. So this is where you can trade a mid-first comfortably for these players, and I'm happy about it. If you are looking for if you're a rebuilder and you have like a 107, 108, I'm fine holding on. I'm fine taking Marvin Harrison Jr. If you're in like a 1-year, 2-year reload, I don't really like MHJ's short-term outlook. Everyone always says, is this the year that he breaks out? Probably not, but he's young. And, you know, 2 years left on the deal, and maybe Brissett, and then maybe he stays healthy. Arizona stinks. Maybe the new coaching staff utilizes this top prospect. I'm not ready to pack the bags here on MHJ. You know, would I rather have MHJ or Denzel Boston? I'd rather have MHJ, to be completely honest with you. Tyler Warren's another name right here. Would I rather have Tyler Warren or Kenyon Sadiq? I'd rather have Tyler Warren. He was a better athletic profile coming out of school, in my opinion. This guy produced high results at Penn State. And in terms of production, you're getting a discount because he played poorly from a points per game perspective with Phillip Rivers. He got targets, he just didn't produce. Maybe the passes were from a 40-year-old, I don't know. And then the first half of the year with Indiana Jones, who's obviously going to be his quarterback in 2026, he did print double-digit point per games. That's impressive. I like Tyler Warren a lot. And talking about Kenyon Sadiq, we have at the 108 in the rookie mock draft, right? I'd rather have Harold Fannin as well. So depending on where like the picks are, let's just say we had Sadiq at the 108. You're looking at, you can probably get somebody willing to do that. You can maybe, again, you're putting out feelers here. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Your league settings, your league could be different. You could value things differently. But if you can send a 107, a 108 for Fannin, for Tyler Warren, I really, really like that. Again, Fannin, 3 different quarterbacks, Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. It didn't matter. This guy was good, 11.6 points per game. And it wasn't really volatile. He kind of showed in my eyes that he's quarterback independent, which is a crazy thing to say for a rookie. But you can see that no matter who was the quarterback, he was getting targeted. And he was producing. And he was producing with a pretty good amount of touchdowns as well, especially in the back half of the year, with Shedeur, who's most likely to be the starter if they don't bring back Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson liked his tight ends. So if Harold Fannin, I like a lot, man. Especially over Sadiq. And Fannin's 21 years old. Age does matter. Chase Brown, another great buy candidate. Nobody's talking about this enough. The back half of 2025, he averaged over 20 points per game. His worst week in the back half of the season was in week 15 when he had 16 points per game and he didn't have a touchdown on the ground or the air that game. Chase Brown's a bright 2 to 3 year outlook if the Bengals keep him, and it's a weak running back class, so I feel like it'd be hard for the Bengals to come in here and replace him, especially with the output we saw from a fantasy point per game perspective. So would you rather have Jonah Coleman, unknown, slow, or would you rather have Jadarian Price, who only has 16 total receptions through 3 seasons, or would you rather have Chase Brown? Chase Brown, let's take a look at this. Chase Brown had 69 receptions in 1 season in the NFL. I'm just saying, man, that is a great deal to be making. I'd rather have, this is where it gets to be a toss-up. I'd maybe rather have RJ Harvey than the 107, 108, because I think I'd rather have RJ Harvey than Coleman or Jadarian Price, because again, we're seeing Harvey command the role, and get targets in that Broncos offense. I'd rather have Scatabo than the 107, 108. I'd rather have Javonte than the 107, 108. I'd rather have Walker, maybe, than the 107, 108. Walker's a bit scary because I was actually out on Kenneth Walker before the Charbonnet injury. You can see the volatility scares me. The efficiency scares me. The usage scares me. Everything scares me here. So I'm not rushing to get Kenneth Walker, but the injury definitely helps his case, especially in the short term next season. He'll have a chance to earn it. Whether or not that happens, that really is up to him. But that's what I wanted to show you guys is the 107, 108, those are the specific names. Like, I love those names in that tier of guys. Go trade that mid to late first and see what you can get. And honestly, like, you'd be surprised. Like, put out some feelers. Send a 110 for Javonte. That gets rejected, add a second round pick. Why? Second round picks, we barely talked about the second round, but second round picks this year, honestly, I don't want to say they're worthless because, again, you'll probably have a 2 out of 12 hit rate. There might be 2 good players that come out of the second round this year. There always is. There's always guys that hit, like Gatson. Honestly, last year I had an amazing draft last year. I got Tesla, I got Fenn, I got Gatson. Who else did I get? I got Woody Marks. So I had a heck of a draft last year without any first or second round picks. So if anybody's aware of it, I'm aware that there's going to be guys that come out of that rounds. Problem is, the hit rates are very low because in that same draft, I also traded like a 2027 third to get a 2026 third, and I got myself Jadon Blue. Brother, does he even play football? So you're obviously going to swing and miss, but you're also going to swing and potentially get some higher hits, and you're in the right spot. Obviously, you heard that draft result I had last year, so I'm coming off of a big high, hoping to repeat it this year in 2026. So that explains the mid-first, late first, some options here that I do like a lot. I really like Tyler Shuck. Personally, would I rather have Tyler Shuck or Mendoza? This is controversial, but Tyler Shuck had 20 points per game over the final 6 weeks. Tyler Shuck had 275 passing yards over the last per game over the last 6 weeks, and he gave you 20 plus rushing yards per game over the last 6 weeks. He's old. He's an old. He was an old rookie, older than Mendoza, but I think Mendoza is going to purgatory. I think that NFL purgatory in the fact that the Raiders O-line is going to get him killed. There's no receivers. Shuck has Olave. The Saints have a good pick. They're going to probably go offense there at the 108, whatever selection they have. I think I'd rather have Shuck than Mendoza. That's crazy to say, right? So if you're thinking of taking Mendoza, you could probably send that pick for Shuck. And since Shuck is so low in value right now, like, to be completely honest with you guys, if it was my ranking, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I'd have Shuck wherever Scam Darnold is. Wherever Darnold is, wherever Bryce Young is, wherever Cam Ward, wherever those guys are, I'd have Shuck right above them. That's just me. So, but that's not the current value situation, which means you can buy him low, send the 105. If you're taking Mendoza with the 105, 106, send that 105 for Shuck and get something extra on top of it while you can before the breakout. So I really like targeting him. I think Pitts. Would I rather have Pitts or Sadiq? That's a really tough one, especially with the free agency. But I don't mind getting Pitts, and I don't mind sending second-round picks for Gatson either. I think that's a good potential trade candidate for second-round picks. One more guy is Scam Laporta. So talking about Scam, right? He's actually, if there's one person you don't want to add the C to, You know, you talk about Scam Darnold, who's now in the Super Bowl. You talk about Scam Ward, absolutely trash. You talk about Alvin Kamara. These guys all have Michael Spitman. It's because they're all trolls, right? They all troll you. Sam Laporta, he trolled you a little bit. Scam Laporta in 2025. This guy was going high in best ball drafts, man. And then obviously disappointing season. Injured. Don't write off him just yet. He prints double-digit point per game averages. And I think people are forgetting that. He's only 25 years old as well. Play Dynasty in 3-year outlooks is what everyone says. And Sam Laporta, he will bounce back. He will be back. So I hope this video helped a lot. For some specific options to trade your first round picks, second round picks, things get tricky. You know, me personally, a good example I had is I wanted Chuck a lot. I traded Mr. Scamara. 2 seconds, the 210, 211, worthless in my eyes. The 310, worthless in my eyes. So I traded 2 seconds, a late third, and Scamara, trash, for Chuck. Got the deal done. These deals can get done in your league. You just gotta put out the feelers, do the homework, and see what you can get done right there. Hope this vid helped. See you boys in the next one.